Good evening, class.
Good evening.
Thank you. I hope
Good
that
evening.
everyone can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, so today we are going to be learning about measures of central tendency. Specifically, we are going to be looking at the types of mean. So, as you know from our previous lesson, we have several types of measures of central tendency. We have mean, we have mode, and we have median. But today we are going to be looking at the types of mean. So the learning outcomes, by the end of the lesson, you should be able to describe the various types of mean. You should also be able to state the right formulae for all the types of mean. And also you should be able to identify the advantages and limitations of mean. So on your screen, you can see the definitions and the types of mean. So as you know, the mean is the average of a data set, and it is found by adding all the numbers in the data set and then dividing the number by the number of values in the data set. So we have the various types of mean. There are three, and they include the weighted mean, the geometric mean, and the harmonic mean. And the weighted mean, this one is usually used when certain values in the data set have more weight. The geometric mean, it is often used for a set of numbers whose values are meant to be multiplied together or are exponential in nature. The harmonic mean, this one, it is usually defined using the reciprocals. So it is the average of the reciprocals of the data values. The formulae for the weighted mean, the geometric mean, the harmonic mean are showing on your screen. If you have something, please note it down, or you can screenshot, so that as you saw in the lesson objectives, by the end of this lesson, at least you should be able to have them on your fingertips. So for the weighted mean, you can see that the value xi is multiplied by the weight of the value, and then it is all divided by the weight of all the values. For geometric mean, you multiply all the values in the data set, so x1 times x2 up to xn, then you do the nth root of the data set. And then for the harmonic mean, you can see that n is above, so n is the number of the number of data in a population, and then in the denominator you have 1 over a, 1 over b plus 1 over c up to 1 over n, where a, b, and c and n are the values that are available in the data set. Now we are going to look at the advantages and the disadvantages of mean. One of the advantages that we have about mean is that it uses every value in the data set, and hence it is a good representation of the data. So while finding mean, you cannot omit any value from the data set. Unlike the mode, whereby the mode you only check for the value that has the most number of values, then you take that. But for mean, you have to use every single value in a data set or the population. The second advantage is that it is repeated samples. If you draw data from a population, so as you know, we've done sampling. If you pick a sample, if you pick the first sample from the population and then you pick another sample from the same population, they will have similar means. or at least if not similar, they will have a very small variation. So mean usually resists fluctuations. That is another advantage of the mean. There are other advantages, and also there are other disadvantages apart from the ones that I've shown in this presentation. I'll be able to give you an assignment on that. The disadvantages, it is usually sensitive to extreme values, or what we usually call outliers, when the sample size is small. If the sample size is big, the outliers might not have so much a big effect. But if the sample size is very small, then you will find that extreme values or outliers are usually they will really affect the mean. Another thing is that mean cannot be calculated for nominal or non-nominal ordinal data. Does any one of you understand the meaning of nominal or non-nominal data? Somebody to try?
Yeah, I can try. Ordinal data is a kind of data that is ordered or that can be ranked. I think that's the kind of data that is ordinal.
Thank you, Ben. So this is data that is ordered. If you when you are collecting data and you use a questionnaire to collect data, they usually have the scales. So you can ask a question where they have a yes or no answer. So if this is data for yes or no answer, you cannot use mean to be able to analyze the data, unless you make it into scaled data. So that is a disadvantage that mean has. So the summary of this lesson. So by the end of this at the end of this lesson, you should be able to get the 3 objectives. You should be able to state the formulae. You should be able to describe the various types of mean, and you should be able to tell the advantages and the disadvantages. So mean is a very important measure of central tendency, and it is used in all walks of life. It is important to have all the formulas at your fingertips. And also, geometric mean is used for exponential data that is multiplied together, as you saw in the formula. Harmonic mean uses reciprocal, while weighted mean is used for data that has weights. So whenever you see weights in a question, you will note that you use weighted mean. If you see exponential data, you use geometric mean. So unless someone has a question, I believe that we will be ending our lesson there. So if you have any question, you can ask. So if we have no questions, I believe we shall end the lesson there. Thank you very much for attending the lesson. Have a good evening.
Thank you.